For centuries, humanity lived at the edges of galactic civilization, dismissed as a fragile and inconsequential species. Their ships were small, their weapons outdated, their colonies scattered across forgotten systems that powerful empires barely noticed. Compared to the vast star nations that commanded entire constellations, humans seemed insignificant, a minor presence sustained more by diplomacy than by force. The Galactic Council labeled humanity a low-risk civilization. Their military capacity was catalogued, their technology ranked near the bottom, and their strategic influence deemed negligible. They posed no threat, required no monitoring, and warranted no concern. Humans did not object. They accepted restrictive treaties. They reduced ship production. They dismantled visible fleets. They withdrew from disputed systems. To the rest of the galaxy, it appeared humanity had embraced peace because they lacked the strength to choose otherwise. And so, they were overlooked. But in the shadows of expanding space, one empire took notice, not with caution, but with ambition. The Kar Dominion had built its power through conquest. Their fleets moved with brutal efficiency, erasing resistance and enslaving entire populations. Dozens of civilizations had fallen before them, their histories reduced to data archives and shattered ruins. To the Kar, humanity looked like prey. The invasion began without warning. Kar war fleets tore out of hyperspace above Earth's outer colonies, unleashing planetary bombardments before any defensive systems could activate. Orbital cities disintegrated. Trade stations burned. Communication relays vanished in cascading explosions. Entire populations were erased in minutes. Emergency signals flooded human space. Then silence followed. No counterattack came. No fleets mobilized. No pleas were sent. Days passed. Then weeks. Human territory collapsed inward, system by system, as the Kar advance continued unchecked. Refugee ships streamed toward Earth, carrying fragments of shattered worlds and the weight of unimaginable loss. To the galaxy, this confirmed everything they believed. Humanity was weak. The Kar Dominion advanced deeper, confident that final victory was inevitable. Their commanders mocked human restraint, broadcasting declarations of conquest across public channels. Victory parades were planned. New territories were already being divided among Dominion governors. But what no one understood was that humanity's silence was not surrender. It was calculation. Every lost outpost, every destroyed colony, every fallen defense platform was recorded. Vast predictive models analyzed the Kar fleet movements, supply routes, hyperspace corridors, and strategic behavior. With every step forward, the invaders were being guided, unknowingly, into a carefully constructed trap. Beyond charted space, buried inside forgotten regions of spacetime, dormant systems began to awaken. Deep space vaults unlocked. Ancient protocols activated. Vast constructs stirred from enforced hibernation. Humanity was not collapsing. They were positioning. And as the Kar Dominion approached the heart of human territory, convinced that final conquest lay within reach, they crossed a boundary no map displayed. The moment humanity had been waiting for was almost at hand. As the Kar Dominion pushed deeper into human territory, their confidence hardened into absolute certainty. System after system fell without meaningful resistance. Supply lines stretched across conquered space, and massive fleets converged toward Sol, preparing for the final assault. To every observer in the galaxy, humanity appeared finished. Yet far beyond known star charts, the machinery of extinction quietly awakened. Hidden arrays buried inside dark matter clouds began transmitting encrypted commands. Long-abandoned stations unfolded from folded dimensions. Artificial minds older than most civilizations powered on, their awareness spreading across billions of dormant weapons systems. Across these concealed networks, a single directive propagated. Protocol Veiled Thunder. Human strategists had predicted the Dominion's campaign decades before it began. Every Kar maneuver, every formation doctrine, every hyperspace route had been simulated endlessly. The invasion was not chaotic. It was predictable. The Kar believed they were advancing freely. In reality, they were being guided. Human countermeasures subtly redirected hyperspace currents, reshaping jump corridors so that enemy fleets converged into narrow gravitational funnels. Supply routes were forced into vulnerable choke points. Retreat vectors quietly collapsed. The Car Armada compressed into a single, colossal formation, massive, powerful, and completely trapped. Inside deep subterranean command centers, human officers watched in silence as probability curves stabilized. Artificial intelligences completed final calculations, confirming what humanity had already accepted. There would be no survival for the invading force. Still, the command to strike did not come. Humanity waited. They waited until the Dominion fleets fully committed. They waited until reinforcements were pulled from distant sectors. They waited until the Car Emperor himself entered the battle space, eager to witness Earth's destruction. Only then did humanity respond. Across every frequency, through every communication band, a single human transmission pierced the battlefield. This invasion ends now. The message was not amplified. It did not threaten. It did not negotiate. It simply stated fact. Space trembled. From invisible fractures in reality, human fleets emerged. They did not jump through hyperspace. They unfolded from higher dimensions, slipping into existence without displacement, shockwaves, or detectable energy spikes. Millions of war constructs materialized simultaneously. Vessels larger than planetary moons locked into geometric formations. Swarms of autonomous strike craft spread across light seconds of space. Gravity manipulation arrays anchored themselves around the trapped armada, sealing every exit. Human technology defied known physical laws. Car sensors malfunctioned instantly. Targeting systems collapsed. Communications dissolved into static. Their entire fleet found itself surrounded by an enemy they had never known existed. In that moment, certainty shattered. The galaxy watched as humanity's hidden war machine completed its deployment. And for the first time, fear replaced arrogance. Because the Car Dominion finally understood a truth that came far too late. They had not invaded a weak civilization. They had walked directly into the jaws of something immeasurably greater. The first human strike erased an entire battle group before any Car commander realized the attack had begun. There was no warning. No energy buildup. No visible firing sequence. One moment, thousands of Car warships existed. The next, they were gone. Space collapsed inward along impossible geometries as quantum lances cut through layered shields, folding armor, reactors, and hulls into nothingness. Entire formations froze mid-maneuver as temporal suppression fields locked time itself, then shattered those frozen fleets into drifting particulate clouds. Car targeting systems screamed error codes. Weapons failed to fire. Navigation grids dissolved. Command networks collapsed into silence. Human war intelligence did not react. It predicted. Every Car maneuver unfolded precisely as calculated. Each attempted retreat closed another trap. Each counterattack met an overwhelming counter-response before the command was even transmitted. Autonomous human strike swarms bypassed defenses at subatomic scale, dismantling ships from within. Exotic matter projectiles destabilized reactors, causing controlled implosions that left no debris. Gravitational compression arrays crushed entire carrier groups into singularity fragments that evaporated seconds later. Across the battlefield, panic replaced discipline. Car admirals issued conflicting orders. Fleets collided. Escape vectors vanished. Hyperspace ruptures sealed before ships could enter. Entire armadas were annihilated in coordinated waves, their destruction unfolding with surgical precision. In less than 4 minutes, over half the Dominion's total military strength ceased to exist. Galactic observers watched in paralyzed disbelief. This was not warfare. It was systematic deletion. Human fleets advanced without urgency, adjusting formations with mathematical calm. Their weapons fired in flawless synchronization, each strike maximizing damage while minimizing energy expenditure. No shot was wasted. No target survived. Then came the final measure. Across the battle space, artificial gravity wells activated simultaneously. Space twisted. Light bent. Reality fractured under engineered pressure. Entire car warships collapsed inward, compressed beyond structural limits, reduced to infinitesimal mass points that vanished without explosion. No survivors. No wreckage. No trace. The remaining car vessels attempted surrender. Their transmissions were cut off before completion. The final destruction wave passed through the remnants of the Dominion fleet, erasing them in seconds. When silence returned, the battlefield was empty. Not shattered. Not scarred. Empty. In less than 12 minutes, one of the greatest military powers in galactic history had been completely eliminated. Across known space, long-range sensors overloaded. Civilizations shut down observatories, unable to process the scale of what they had witnessed. Strategic councils dissolved into chaos. Entire doctrines of warfare collapsed in an instant. Then a human transmission spread across every inhabited system. We were never weak. We were waiting. Humanity revealed that their restraint had been deliberate. Their visible fleets were decoys. Their limited technology was camouflage. Their diplomatic weakness was strategic deception. For centuries, they had hidden their true capabilities, constructing their real arsenal beyond observable space, beyond detection, beyond suspicion. They had prepared not for conquest, but for survival. And now the galaxy understood a terrifying truth. What it had just witnessed was not humanity's full power. It was merely the force required to end a single war. And nothing in known existence could stand against what still remained unseen. The destruction of the Car Dominion reshaped the galaxy in a single cycle. Borders that had stood for millennia dissolved overnight. Long-standing alliances fractured under fear and uncertainty. Military doctrines, once considered unbreakable, were abandoned as obsolete. Entire civilizations reevaluated their place in a universe where humanity now stood revealed as an unmatched power. Yet humanity did not advance. No fleets occupied conquered systems. No worlds were claimed. No tribute was demanded. No political leverage was exercised. Instead, a single declaration spread across known space. We seek peace. But we will never accept extinction. Human fleets withdrew from former battle zones, vanishing back into folded dimensions and hidden vaults. Their war constructs powered down. Their weapons fell silent. The execution engine returned to hibernation. But the memory of its activation remained burned into the consciousness of every species. From that moment forward, no empire dared challenge human territory. Expansionist coalitions disbanded. Border skirmishes ceased. Even ancient rivalries fell quiet. Fear, for once, stabilized the galaxy. Trade routes reopened. Refugees were returned. Reconstruction efforts began under human protection. Entire star systems were restored using technologies no civilization had previously imagined possible. Human engineers rebuilt shattered worlds. Their medical systems reversed extinction-level damage. Their energy networks reignited dead suns. They did not rule. They protected. And in doing so, they rewrote galactic history. Only later did fragments of humanity's deeper past become known. Long before they ever encountered the car, humans had survived horrors older than recorded time, entities that consumed galaxies, civilizations that burned entire dimensions, forces that shattered reality itself. Humanity had endured because they learned to hide, to wait, to prepare beyond imagination. They built not for domination, but for inevitability. Their restraint was not mercy. It was discipline. Their silence was not weakness. It was patience. From that day forward, humanity was no longer classified as a minor civilization. They were designated as a galactic stabilizing force, a living deterrent against annihilation. And everyone understood what that meant. If another empire ever sought total domination, humanity would not negotiate. They would not threaten. They would not warn. They would simply erase the threat before it could fully rise. Because the galaxy had already seen what happened when humans stopped waiting. Across distant stars, new civilizations now whispered a single truth in their myths and histories: that the universe was vast. that it was dangerous, and that somewhere beyond perception, humanity watched. Not as conquerors, not as tyrants, but as the final safeguard against extinction. The moment humans exposed their real military might, the galaxy did more than tremble. It changed forever.